Welcome to Foley Field in Athens, Georgia. SEC Network Baseball on this overcast Tuesday afternoon as the Troy Trojans are back in town for the second time this season to take on the fifth-ranked Georgia Bulldogs. And good afternoon. I'm Matt Stewart, joined by former Georgia Bulldogs All-SEC catcher, assistant coach, and two-time minor league All-Star Jason Jacobs. And Jason, after 7 games and 2 weeks, the Georgia Bulldogs are finally back here at Foley Field. They welcome in a Troy team that beat them back in February, a Troy team with a 57 RPI. This is a very big game for this Trojans team that is on the NCAA tournament bubble.
Yeah, and Georgia playing some good baseball. You mentioned the Road Warriors back at home, kind of getting their legs back underneath them after a grueling series where 3 games, basically extra innings, and just over 24 hours over there at Oxford.
Well, the Bulldogs won 2 out of 3 at Ole Miss over the weekend, probably their biggest series win of the entire season. And in the process, Daniel Jackson became the first 20-20 guy in Georgia history.
He's been playing great all year, and it's starting to heat up towards the home stretch.
The linchpin of that series victory came on the second game of the series, 14th inning, and Trey Phelps ends the marathon from the offensive standpoint by hitting a solo home run to get the Bulldogs the lead for good.
Dogs showed a lot of resiliency in that ball game, and speaking of which, Aoki comes back around after throwing 36 pitches Saturday night. He comes to Sunday, he was thinking going 2 or 3, goes 6 strong innings against a tough Ole Miss offense.
Yeah, Aoki has really established himself as a prominent member of the Bulldogs pitching staff, whether that be in the starting rotation or whether it be out of the bullpen. And speaking of pitching today, Bulldogs, another staff day for Georgia, and Jordan Stevens gets the ball for Georgia to start the game. It'll be his first or second career start, second of the season.
And Stevens has a great arm, good live fastball. Struggled a little bit this season numbers-wise. The stuff is there, just hasn't quite put everything together on the mound and had his fastball and its breaking stuff working. You can see there the strikeout-to-walk ratio is a little tight. It's kind of an indicator of the lack of command at times.
Yeah, with Stevens, the issue is too many walks, and that's why that whip is up over 2. As you take a look at the batting order for the Trojans, 4 left-handers and 5 right-handers in the batting order. Flip that around. 4 right-handers and 5 left-handers in the batting order for this Troy team. It's a very good team. Jimmy Janicki, their catcher, being the DH today, leads the Sun Belt with 59 RBI, and he is riding a 10-game hitting streak.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough opponent here for Georgia, as I mentioned. Just coming back, long road trip. A lot of baseball was played in a very short amount of time, so that bullpen and those arms are going to be taxed a little bit. You mentioned the whole staff. You'd like to see Stevens go as long as possible, give as many people as possible a rest, but Troy definitely looking to take this one and help their postseason resume out.
Well, speaking of long road trips, Troy's in the middle of one. They're at the end of one. They have not been home since last Wednesday. They left Troy on Wednesday, played at Marshall over the weekend, and then stopped in Greenville, South Carolina yesterday on their route here to Georgia for the second time this season, as Aaron Pisecki leads off the game for Troy. Pisecki, transfer from Central Michigan, hits the ball in the air to center field. Lugo's going to take it for out number 1. So we're underway in Athens with the Troy Trojans in town. That's Lugo in center. He'll have Allen in left and Ishikawa in right field. The rest of the defense for Georgia. Hudson getting the start behind the plate today for just the 7th time this season. Someone other than Daniel Jackson starting at catcher. Daniel Jackson is the DH today for Georgia. O'Shaughnessy at first, Black is at second, Branch at short, and Phelps at third base. And here's Josh Pine. Pine, the senior, batting .307, 4 homers, 24 RBI. Pine leads the Sun Belt with 17 doubles this season. He's been a doubles machine. In fact, he has 75 career doubles, which is number 1 among active players in college baseball. 58 of those 75 doubles came at his previous stop, Indiana. He was one of the big gets for the Trojans in the portal this past offseason. 1 ball, 1 strike from Stevens. Fastball strike at the knees and on the outside corner, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, Stevens off to a good start here. 4 of his first 5 pitches in the strike zone, so commanding it a little bit, a tick under what we're used to seeing him at. 96 rather than that 98. That could be his comfort zone where command meets velocity.
1-2 pitch. Missed inside with a 97-mile-per-hour heater. And it's 2-2.
Good miss there. Got a little bit extra arm side run late. Took it out of the zone. I think Stevens wanted that one, but
Pine played 4 seasons with the Indiana Hoosiers. Sends that 2-2 pitch in the air over on the right side. Long run for everybody, and Ishikawa comes in and could not hold on to it with the diving attempt. Ball bounced out of his glove after he hit the ground, so that's going to be a single for Pine with 1 out here in the first.
yeah, awkward layout right here from Ishikawa. Landed pretty hard, lost the sunglasses, but you can see he comes in with his fingers up trying to make that catch. I think you got to get your fingers down underneath that, almost like you're fielding a ground ball. Once he made contact with the ground, just couldn't hang on to the ball.
So Pine is aboard with 1 out. Brings Cavill to the plate. Blake Cavill, their first baseman. There's a strike from Stevens. Off-speed pitch at 82. Cavill is from Sydney, Australia. And there's a strike.
A little changeup, so 2 off-speed pitches for strikes there to start this at-bat off from Stevens. That's a good sign.
Cavill has a 33-game on-base streak. That's kind of been the hallmark of his career, whether it be at Western Kentucky or at Troy. And Cavill takes ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Blake Cavill. Started his college career at Northwest Florida State. Of course, Henry Allen for Georgia also played there. And then went to Western Kentucky before landing at Troy, now in his 2nd season with the Trojans. And that pitch is outside. It's 2-2 now to Cavill. Stevens, the junior right-hander out of Rochelle, Georgia, Wilcox County High School. He's had 29 relief appearances for the Bulldogs over the last 2 seasons. Ball hit in the air to the left side. Allen retreating back near the track, and now on the track has it for out number 2. So 2 down in the inning as Pine stays at first base. Here's Jimmy Janicki. He has been their star player. He has been their Daniel Jackson, if you will. Home run number's not quite the same, but the RBI numbers have been. His OPS is 1.096, which is number 4 in the Sun Belt Conference. Throw over, chases back Pine. See Janicki in the Sun Belt, 1st in RBI, 2nd in slugging, 3rd in hits, and 3rd in home runs. Like Daniel Jackson, he's their everyday catcher, but he's DHing today like Jackson is for the Bulldogs. One of the top prospects in the country when he signed with the Trojans out of Downers Grove, Illinois. Oh, 1 pitch from Stevens, missed inside, 1-1. Stevens in his career 4-0 with a 6.34 ERA in the 29 relief appearances in the 1 start. His 1 start came earlier this year against Western Carolina. And like we mentioned, Troy's here for the 2nd time, kind of an unusual circumstance. You usually don't have a team play in your ballpark for a 2nd time without there being some kind of return visit. They played back on February 25th, and Troy beat Georgia 6-5 in 12 innings. Called strike 3. Stevens gets the strike out of Janicki looking, and that ends the top half of the first. So a good half inning for Jordan Stevens as he gets around that one-out single with a strikeout of Janicki, maybe a little bit below the knees. Bulldogs batting when we get back. Back at Foley Field, Troy scoreless in the top half, and Georgia grabbing the bats for the first time today. Trojans seeking their second victory over a ranked Georgia team this season. Beat the Bulldogs 6-5, as we mentioned, back on February 25th in 12 innings. Trojans are currently 22-22 overall. The RPI 57 probably outside the bubble, but if they take care of their schedule, including a victory over Georgia today and some of the other games they got coming up, UAB and Alabama, plus their conference schedule, they've got a chance to work their way back into the NCAA tournament. After missing last year, they were the first team out last year, made it in 2023, played in Tuscaloosa. And Brock Tapper getting the ball for Troy today. Tapper making his fourth start of the season out of Nesbitt, Mississippi. Transfer from Mississippi State, also Northwest Florida State. Sounds a lot like Henry Allen. Pitched against Georgia back in that February game that they won, was not involved in the decision, and he's 1-1 on the year with a 5.75 ERA.
Yeah, and good pitcher. I mean, kind of your prototypical lefty. The fastball's going to get up to 92, probably be in the high 80s, low 90s for the most part. Really good changeup. The cutter and the curveball, cutter okay, curveball a little bit better, but that changeup's what he's going to rely on. I think he gets into trouble a little bit with nibbling around the zone. So if he can attack the zone and really attack these Georgia hitters who have been hitting lefties pretty well here as of late, he's got his best chance. But if he starts to venture outside and nibble towards the edges, he could find himself in a disadvantaged count.
So Bulldogs 34-11 as they come in today. So take a look at the Bulldogs batting order, and Daniel Jackson with his 21 home runs, which is 6th in the nation, number 1 in the SEC, batting second today again, as he typically does, but he is not catching. He's the DH, and Trey Phelps leading things off. Goes after the first pitch and fouled it back.
And something that we talked about very early on in the year, the pace that the Bulldogs were on as far as home runs, team home runs go, they've been really doing a good job at figuring out ways to score runs without benefit of a home run here in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Bulldogs are on pace to hit 150 home runs. They are right on the pace to break the program single season record, which they set in 2024, which is 151.
That's right.
But from a per game basis, they're ahead of that pace that they were on in 2024. Phelps 1.164 OPS is number 10 in the Southeastern Conference. There's a fastball strike, and it's 1-2 now. So Tapper later on in this inning, if somebody can reach for Georgia, will face Henry Allen, his former Northwest Florida State teammate, who's batting 4th today for Georgia. Shift is on for Phelps. Pitch outside, 2-2. So the Georgia Bulldog batting order a little bit different than you typically see, with Lujo dropping down from the 3 spot to the 6 spot. O'Shaughnessy and Allen moving up a spot each to the 4 and 5 spot. The 3 and 4 spot, I should say. And that's going to be a base hit against the shift into right field for a single for Phelps.
You know, and I had that thought in the previous pitch. They got to 2 strikes, and they shifted everybody over to that left side on the infield. And, you know, he throws him a fastball away, and I feel like that kind of didn't pitch to the shift a little bit. Here, a changeup, and Phelps just does a good job at seeing it deep, hitting it right where the second baseman would have been playing, but taking advantage, again, seeing the field and taking advantage of the gaps that they're giving him. That's something this Georgia offense has started to do that they weren't doing early on in the season.
And here's Daniel Jackson. First pitch to him is swung on and missed. Is there anything more gratifying in baseball than seeing a guy beat the shift like that?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I mean, from my standpoint, as a catcher, anytime we would shift like that and you'd hit a ball right where the guy should have been playing, it was so upsetting to the pitcher. They would get so upset, like, why are we making this shift, et cetera, so forth, but never the other way around. I can't think of a pitcher that was upset at you know, a guy being in his position and having a ball go where they're not traditionally at. So sometimes, especially, I like seeing it a lot because I think the shift is overused personally. So I like seeing guys beat the shift and go ahead and see the game and take advantage of what the team's giving you.
No balls and 2 strikes to Daniel the Rhino Jackson. He fouls it back again, and the count remains 0-2 to Jackson. You saw that 1.260 OPS, which is number 2 in the SEC. And he's got a shot at the SEC Triple Crown, batting average, home run, and RBI leader with 3 weeks left in the regular season. 0-2 pitch from Tapper, missed, 1-2. So Jackson's currently 4th in the conference in batting average, number 1 in home runs, number 1 in RBI, number 1 in total bases, number 2 in slugging, number 6 in stolen bases. And that hit him on the shin, or the elbow guard, I should say. And first and second now for the Dogs.
Tapper making sure Dan Jackson didn't lean into that one a little bit, but he stands far enough off the plate. He came in on Trey Phelps as well, did a good job at painting the inside corner. Trey's a tough guy to pitch into, but this one sneaks away just a little bit. And yeah, Jackson held his ground and maybe turned a little bit late, but he's far enough off the plate. I don't think much of an argument there.
So here's O'Shaughnessy with 2 aboard and nobody out. Missed inside with the fastball. O'Shaughnessy been on quite a tear. And you see an early visit here from head coach Skylar Meade, who's also their pitching coach.
And he told us before the game, if you see me go out there, it's to tell him to attack the zone a little bit better. He's just venturing to the edges a little bit too much, not trusting his stuff. The fastball looks sharp today. He's got some good action on it, but he's just not getting ahead to be able to go to that changeup. Of course, when the leadoff guy hits a pretty good changeup the other way, right where the second baseman should be playing, it can get in your head as a pitcher.
Skylar Meade, 170 and 111, and this is 5th season as the Trojans head coach. One of the bright young minds in college baseball. Looks like one of the players, he looks so young, but he's got quite the accomplished resume already.
He's been around a lot of great baseball minds, too.
1 ball, no strikes to O'Shaughnessy, with Phelps down at second and Jackson at first. That's going to be ball 2, and now we're going to have some activity in that Troy bullpen pretty quickly. Dylan Alonso, who's kind of been their closer, is the first guy running down there. Tapper looks back at second in the 2-0, hit in the air to center field. Shallow left field. Let's see who's going to take it. The left fielder's going to take it. Put away by Nelson for out number 1. I didn't immediately see where that ball was headed. It's a high sky with an overcast. The sun hasn't quite made it through today, so that baseball can get lost against that gray canopy.
No doubt. No doubt. The first couple fly balls we saw off of Troy's bats, they were a little bit difficult to track for me up here in the booth. I think the outfielders are a little better than me at that, but it is a high and very gray sky.
And here's Henry Allen facing his Northwest Florida State teammate of a year ago, Brock Tapper. Allen, 13 homers, 41 RBI to go with that .322 batting average. Leads the team with 28 walks. Swings and misses at the 90-mile-per-hour offering, and it's 1-1. Allen won 10 doubles on the season, which is 1 off the team lead held by Colby Branch. Picked up that 10th double in Sunday's victory at Ole Miss. Hits this one high in the air to Meyer in center field. That'll be out number 2. Phelps is tagging. Here comes the throw in, going to be offline, and the Bulldogs will have runners at the corners with 2 down. Kenny Ishikawa will stand in with runners at the corners, 2 outs. Ishikawa, a .357 hitter with 2 outs, but pops up the first pitch in foul territory for out number 3 as the Bulldogs strand the runners at the corners here in the first. Top of the second inning, scoreless here in Athens. Troy and University of Georgia for the second time this season. Tournament resume for Georgia. Of course, they continue to lead the Southeastern Conference with a record of 15-6 in the SEC, a half-game lead on second-place Texas A&M. The RPI 20, strength of schedule 34, 10-3 against the RPI top 25, and D1 baseball, of course, has them projected as a number 1 seed in the Athens Regional, number 11 national seed, which it only really has to be reflective of the RPI because Georgia leads the toughest conference in the country. I think when all things are said and done, they end up being a top 8 national seed.
I would think so. I mean, toughest conference in this, toughest conference in the country. Obviously, they're leading that, but look at their road schedule. I'm just shocked. I don't know how they come up with the RPI number, but to be 20 and every single one of their road games, what a play there by O'Shaughnessy.
Will slide to the first base bag and getting super play by Michael O'Shaughnessy, making the stop and then racing to the bag to get Stephen Meyer for out number 1.
Showing some great athleticism too, the slide and then the slide into first to get the out. Just got him.
Had a wild play not unsimilar to that one in the Ole Miss series, the final game on Sunday, where he was able to tag the bag with his glove.
Yeah.
To get the out. And here's Drew Nelson, the former Auburn Tiger. Pitch outside to Nelson.
Just going back to Georgia and that RPI being 20, I mean, they've had 4 series, SEC series on the road to this point. They've all been in the central time zone in very difficult, hostile environments. You talk about going to Arkansas, going to Starkville, going to Oxford, Mississippi.
Yeah, Georgia's won series
at
A&M for the first time ever.
Swept
Mississippi State for the first time in forever. At Arkansas for the first time since 2008. At Ole Miss this past weekend for the first time since 2011.
And they finish up with Auburn. It's going to be their last series of the year on the road. I don't know. That RPI just doesn't seem to add up in my book.
Well, I don't see any way that Georgia, if they win the SEC regular season championship, which they've got a good chance to do for the first time since 2008, would not be a top 8 national seed. So you're going to, if that's the case, you're telling me that an SEC team's not going to be a top 8 national seed.
Right.
You're going to put an SEC team that didn't win the conference championship
ahead of
in
the
a
one
top
that
8
did.
over the team that won it?
No, I mean.
And of course, there's a lot of ifs and buts to be played into that conversation. But I think Georgia's got an excellent shot to win their first regular season title since 2008, with Missouri and LSU coming in here the next 2 weekends and then at Auburn.
Yeah, that LSU is going to be a wild card. That's a very talented team. We saw Florida go on a late run a while back.
Ball hit to Black, and Nelson is retired, 2 down in the inning.
So we saw Florida kind of having a tough year and then go on a late run and really kind of catch their stride there. And that could very well happen when LSU comes to town. But, yeah, I think you're right. Georgia well-positioned to be one of the top, at the very least, top 2, top 3 teams in the league. I don't see how top 2 doesn't get you in the top 8.
Yeah, so no disrespect to Division I baseball, D1 baseball. I enjoy their website. I enjoy their content. But I disagree that Georgia is the number 11 national seed.
Agreed. I don't know how they come up with that RPI number, but it doesn't.
Yeah, well, the
20
RPI
doesn't
number,
strike
I mean,
me,
it's
you know.
just, you look,
Yeah.
I don't know. There is a calculation.
Yes.
I don't buy it. I mean, I think you're weighing heavily some non-conference games that Georgia played here at Foldy Field earlier in the season and putting way too much weight on that and not enough weight on road victories in the SEC. That's just me.
I agree with you.
And Jason.
Yeah.
Me and Jason, that's our 2 cents for it. And here is Nolan Book. Their shortstop takes a strike, and it's 1-2. Book, a transfer from Mount St. Mary's, another one of the guys they got out of the portal this year. Had a very talented team a year ago. Lost a lot of talent off that team that got knocked out in the semifinals of the Sun Belt tournament and then got passed over in the NCAA tournament. Ball is hit in the air to right field, could be trouble. Ishikawa gives a long run, can't get to it in foul territory. Yeah, this Troy team had a great year last year. They faltered late and got left out of the NCAA tournament. Very stinging disappointment for the Troy program. They won their first 9 series in the conference. They lost only one conference weekend road series the entire year. Stumbled a little bit down the stretch and got burned by it. And trying to avoid a similar fate this year. I think they've got a schedule, including this Georgia game here today, that should benefit them if they play well. And they have been playing well in the month of April. Ball is hit to center field, and that's going to be caught by Lujo on a sliding catch to end the inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Trojans here in the top of the second, with Lujo coming up with a great defensive play in center field to end the top half. Still scoreless as we head to the bottom half in Athens. Troy Trojans 22-22 overall. Their RPI 60. I think when I checked D1 baseball today, it was 57. So the official NCAA resume and RPI don't quite update as quickly as some of the other websites. So it's 60, it's 57, it's something like that. 23 in the strength of schedule. They're 5-8 against RPI top 50. And D1 baseball had them in their latest projections, and a new projection is just now coming out as we speak, as 4 to watch. And I think so. I mean, you look at the RPI, that RPI just will not be good enough to get in the NCAA tournament. I think they've got a shot to be one of as many as 4 teams to get in from the Sun Belt Conference. I think, Coastal and Southern Miss, as you might imagine, will be pretty much locks. I think Texas State, even though they faltered a little bit here last 3 weekends, did get a win at Coastal over the weekend. Didn't win the series, but got a win in Conway. I think they got a chance. Lujo strikes it well, sends it to the gap in right center field. Lujo digs, bobbled out there by Meyer. Lujo's going to try to get to third, and he's going to get there sliding headfirst.
Well, and how many times do you see it? He ends the top half of the inning with a great sliding catch, closes the distance great, and leads off hitting in the bottom half of the inning, drives a gap, finds himself on third. Lujo's just been a phenomenal player.
Let's see if they score that. No, they're going to score that a triple. I thought they might give it a double and an error. As Meyer just missed it. He never touched it. He just missed it.
He's trying to cut it off to keep it to a double. Yep. Got a little aggressive there, but boy, that ball just jumped into the gap off of Lujo's bat. Great approach.
So Lujo is at third, just 90 feet away, with Hudson batting.
Yeah,
one ball to Hudson.
Tapper to the first 2 lefties he's faced in O'Shaughnessy and Ishikawa. That fastball, that 2-seam fastball's had some late action in on the hands. Let's see if they told Hudson about that to kind of prepare him for that. It's one thing to see it from the on-deck circle, but once you get in the box and you see that late action, it really helps you out as a hitter knowing that ahead of time.
He'll put the shift on for Hudson and move 3 infielders to the right side.
And Lujo starts to expand his lead with nobody there to cover.
Nobody's covering third.
About 30 feet off the bag. Tapper was like, hey, what's going on here? I had to step off.
And he races down the bag and puts on the brakes as races down the line. Slammed on the brakes, and that's ball 2 to Hudson. That was the first triple of the season for Lujo and just the 4th triple of the season for Georgia. Hudson pitch outside, and that's going to be ball 4. I think I might have said 2-0, so I got a ball behind there. So runners at the corners for Georgia as Hudson draws the first walk of the day for Tapper. He also hit a batter in the first. Brings Colby Branch to the plate with runners at the corners and nobody out here in the second. Georgia had runners at first and second and nobody out in the first and failed to score. Had runners at the corners with 1 out and 2 outs and failed to score in the first inning. So Georgia's already had some base opportunities here.
And that 4-pitch walk,
game, yeah.
That 4-pitch walk by Tapper is just not a good walk. I think Lujo got in his head a little bit there down at third base, but last thing you want to do is compound an inning, lead off triple. Just assume he's going to score. Make sure you get the next guy. You got left on left. You get that 1 out. You give up the run. You get out of there with, not a whole lot of damage. Now you got to walk. 1 swing of the bat. Next thing you know, you're down by 3, right?
Come on, Jason. Now, how tough is that for the pitcher to just say, assume he's going to score, and I'm going to keep him not. I mean, your job is to try to keep him from scoring, right? It's hard to just concede, hey, look, the guy's going to score.
Yeah, but just seeing the game as a starter, it's 6 or more, 3 or less is a quality start. So you're like, I left one out over the plate. He took advantage of it. I'm going to limit the damage here. I think is a better mindset to have.
That's the mature mindset.
Yes.
1 ball, 2 strikes, Tapper with runners at the corners, and Branch swings and misses. 91 from Tapper right there. Wow, I thought that was the...
Now he climbed the ladder on him right here. Good fastball up at his eyes, taking advantage. Colby just underneath it a little bit. Looking to drive something to the outfield. Runners at the corners. You don't want to ground into a double play. You'd rather get that sac fly just a little bit above his bat.
So here's Ryan Black. He's in the 9th spot in the batting order today. Runners at the corners and 1 out now. And that's going to be strike 1 to Ryan Black.
Yeah, good job by Tapper coming back. Again, getting back into the zone. I wonder if he heard a little something coming from the dugout telling him to be aggressive and attack the zone.
Black 311, 6 homers, 19 RBI. Also has 7 doubles and hits this one on the ground to the shortstop or the second baseman Darnell, who bobbled it, still got the out at first. Run will score on the play, and Hudson's going to be safe at second.
Just as I was talking about the leadoff triple, just assume it's going to score. Tapper right there got the ground ball to get out of that jam with no runs across. But unfortunately for him, Darnell just couldn't quite handle it. That was about as tailor-made as it gets. Heads up to get the out from Darnell, but.
So 1-0 Georgia, with Hudson now at second and back around to the top of the order, and Trey Phelps. Tapper to the plate, and that's going to be ball number 1. Phelps, base hit to the right side of the infield, his first time up. Beat their shift with 3 infielders on the left side of the infield, so he hit it in the hole where the second baseman should have been. Sneaking in the back door, and Tapper nearly threw the ball into center field, and Darnell had to make a play on it to keep it from getting there. Trey Phelps, the SEC Co-Player of the Week last week for his performance 2 weeks ago against Mississippi State. Hits this one into the hole between short and third. Hudson hits third. He's racing home. Throw comes through to the plate, not in time. And safe at second, Trey Phelps, and a 2-0 lead for Georgia.
And I think this goes back to his first at bat. They had the shift that you mentioned. He uses that side of the field, and then the pull side, kind of a mishit there, topped it a little bit. Is able to sneak through because there's just 2 infielders there, knowing that he can use the backside in a big moment, gets a big 2-out RBI, and great base running to get himself into scoring position once that throw got past the cutoff man at third.
42nd RBI of the season for Phelps. Georgia now up 2, and here's Daniel Jackson. Tapper looks back at Phelps and missed high.
And we've seen this last several weeks since Jackson got off to such a hot start. People really trying to come in on his hands. He got hit in his first at bat, and that first pitch there backs him off. Look at the second pitch as well inside. They really don't want him to get extended.
Breaking ball missed with the second pitch, so now 2-0 to Daniel Jackson. Nine days ago, he had that 3-homer game at Arkansas. Fouls this one back over the overhang. Became the 13th player in Georgia history to hit 3 home runs in one game, and the first since Corey Collins in 2024. 2 balls and 1 strike to Daniel Jackson with Phelps down at second. Tapper looking back at him. In the air, right side. Let's see if it stays playable for Cavill. It does. And that will end the inning, but the Bulldogs put 2 across. Big hit from Trey Phelps, part of the inning. We're headed to the third. Wes Johnson going for his 119th win as the Bulldogs head coach today. And look at what they've been able to do from an ERA standpoint. 5.04 right now here in 2026. And Jordan Stevens has pitched well, 21 strikes out of the 28 pitches that he's thrown.
He's got the good stuff. It's just when he ventures out of the zone, he's really been challenging the zone, getting a lot of fly ball outs to this point. That's kind of who he is. But I think that velocity being at that 95, 96 range, he seems to be more effective to this point in the game. Really has commanded his changeup and his breaking ball as well. Has taken some pressure off of his fastball, having to be that 98 that we normally see from him.
That's 93. That's outside of the zone. And here's the second baseman, Sean Darnell, out of Wetumpka. Transfer from Wallace Dothan Community College. Count 1-1 now to Darnell. I talked to Coach Johnson about what goes into the process of choosing who your midweek starter is going to be, because it's rarely the same person from week to week. And that's going to be ball number 2 to Darnell. I said, is it matchups? Is it somebody who's earned a reward by pitching well out of the bullpen? He goes, no, not really. Just somebody we want to take another look at.
Yeah.
I think Stevens is one of those guys that falls in that. You can see if he's good, he can really help Georgia on weekends. He just really has not exhibited what they need to see to be in that role. Not
the outings that we've had an opportunity to watch him, he's been a thrower. Today it really looks like he's pitching. He's moving the ball in and out, had a little 1-0 changeup for the first strike in this at-bat as well. There's another changeup, good action down. You can see Hudson giving him, like, that's a good pitch, little encouragement. So he's pitching right now as opposed to just throwing.
Three balls and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss, and another strikeout there for Stevens. That'll be his second.
And just at 94 miles an hour, you know he's got more in the tank, but because he has command of those other pitches, batters looking like they're late on his fastball. It's got a little extra life. And just a good pitch, nice riding fastball. Almost looks to the batter like it's rising.
Here's the number 9 hitter, Caden Reeves. Reeves getting the start at catcher today with Janicki in the DH spot. And Reeves has really been on a roll here lately. Had 5 RBI in their series win at Marshall over the weekend. Hit 2 two-run homers in the victory on Saturday. Skylar Meade giving home plate umpire David Savage an earful.
He did not like that, and it was because Savage pointed to the batter and said he went. It looked like a strike on the pitch to me. I think Savage could have just called it a strike and there'd be no complaints, but the fact that he pointed at Reeves, and said it was on the swing, and they're a little upset he didn't check with the first base umpire. Now he's going to get a warning.
Yep. David Savage steps out from behind the plate and writes his name in the naughty list.
I think
that's Ben Wagamont. That's not, yeah. And so
I think they got a good argument though, because it did not look like it was on the swing. I mean, I think pitch looks like a strike right here. You can see it kind of riding in, misses his spot, but.
And by the way, that's not Skylar Meade who gets the warning. Skylar Meade's down in the third base coaching box.
That's right. You're right.
And it's Ben Wagamont, who's their hitting coach,
there you go,
who got the warning. I think it was Ben who got the warning, but Ben's the guy that's in charge of the dugout. He's the associate head coach with Skylar Meade down in the third base coaching box. 2-1 pitch. That ball is lifted down the left field line, and it's going to fall in foul territory.
Wow, that ball had all kinds of English on it. It looked like it was going to get out of play, and it started coming back towards the field of play, which is something you rarely see on a ball pull side. It's usually going to start to fade away from the field, but that one came back.
So Troy was not playing well in the month of March, and those are the words of Skylar Meade, and they played much better in the month of April. And he said, really, we just decided to change things up. He never has been a guy that's been in the third base coaching box, but he said, you know what? I'm going to the third base coaching box, and we're going to put Ben Wuggeman in the dugout there. And it's worked. Just changed things up a little bit.
Oh, that is
Popped
a
up
rainmaker.
to Branch for out number 2.
That ball was up there. No, and I like the thought process around that, too. He gets a chance to talk to those hitters as they come up to the plate, get their mind right a little bit. I mean, you can kind of do that with body language from the third base box, but, you know, watching sequences, how guys are getting pitched, et cetera, so forth and so on, can't really do that from the third base box. So having the hitting coach there to be able to talk these guys through their bat and the situation that they're going to face, I think is a great advantage to have.
Here's Piasecki batting for the second time. He flew out to center his first time up. But Coach Meade told his guys, look, I'm making pitching changes.
Yeah.
I'm coaching the third base coaching box. I'm doing everything that I can do. And I'm going to go be over and beyond. Can we get that from you?
Yeah.
And the team responded. We've had a nice month of April, some really big, massive, crazy comeback wins in the month. 2 balls and no strikes to Piasecki. Ball hit in the air over on the right side of the infield. And it's going to be Phelps who comes all the way across the line at first base to make the play. Trojans go 3 up, 3 down in the top of the third as Phelps comes all the way from third base to make this play. We're heading to the bottom half. What's interesting as we talk about Wes Johnson and his resume, his background as a tremendous pitching coach, is what jumps out at everybody as they talk about Georgia across the nation is what they've been able to do offensively, leading the nation with 120 home runs, second in the country with a .612 slugging percentage, 10th in the country, leading the SEC with a .321 batting average, and 4th in the country, averaging 9.4 runs per game.
Yeah, they've been impressive offensively. I think it's so spread out throughout the lineup, too. You look up, and whatever 3 batters are coming up, you kind of look at, hey, there's a chance for runs right there. There's not really an empty inning.
Michael O'Shaughnessy will lead off the third for Georgia. He flew out to left field his first time up. Solid single to center to start the inning. So O'Shaughnessy aboard, and so for the third consecutive inning out of the first 3 innings, Georgia's got the leadoff man on.
Yeah, and he gets jammed a little bit. Ball in on his hands, that late action in. We mentioned in his first at bat, he got to an advantage count and got beat just a little bit deep right there, though, able to muscle it through up the middle and get the leadoff guy on. Always key to scoring runs, getting that leadoff guy on.
Henry Allen steps in, flew out to center his first time up. So when you got a situation where former teammate facing former teammate, who's got the advantage? Is there any kind of advantage, pitcher or batter?
Pitcher always has the advantage. But as a batter, you have a little bit more say-so, I guess, having seen him, other places or other times. The more at-bats you get, the better shot you got against somebody. But
yeah, they were teammates at Northwest Florida State. I believe they were teammates at Northwest Florida State. Now, Tapper might have been there a year earlier than Allen. Allen was definitely there last year. And Allen's just a sophomore, and Tapper is a senior. He played there in 2024. They were national runners-up that year. And he went 8-3 with a 3.16 ERA and had 74 strikeouts, 18 walks, and 62-plus innings. Allen fouls this one back, so the whole narrative that they're former teammates might not even actually be true. They came from the same program.
they had a similar route to their
yes,
current destinations.
Yeah, and Tapper was a good hitter, too, at Northwest Florida State. He had a .358 batting average and 12 doubles. 1-2 pitch, and Allen strikes that one foul down the third base line. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Henry Allen. O'Shaughnessy at first and nobody out here, bottom of the third. One-two pitch, fastball outside, 2-2. Allen has 13 home runs on the year. Hit his last one a week ago today in that 14-4 7-inning loss to Georgia Tech at Truist Park as Allen gets hit by the pitch and now first and second. And so for the third consecutive inning, Georgia's got 2 base runners on.
No, Allen took that like a champ. Well, he got him. Was it on the arm or the hip? Because it bounced all the way back to Tapper on the mound. That got him good and square right there on the
elbow guard.
Elbow guard to hip. Okay.
So first and second for Georgia. And here's Ishikawa. He popped up to third in foul territory when he batted in the first with runners at the corners and 2 out.
See, that's the tough part about going after that first pitch and in the bat. Even if you get a hit, that coming up to that second at bat, you almost feel like, what information have you really gleaned off of this pitcher?
You're kind of starting over.
You're right. Takes a pitch there.
Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that's going to be outside, 1-1.
You know, my theory on 0-0 was always I kind of treated it like a 3-0 green light situation. I'm looking for one pitch in one spot, and if it's there, I'll go, but I very rarely did.
1-1 pitch, popped up the bunt attempt, and great play by Tapper to get the out. Diving catch by the pitcher, showing off his athleticism. And David Savage motions to the Troy dugout and says, y'all want to come out there and talk to him and make sure he's okay.
Did that left arm roll up underneath him? He really laid out. Let's see, yeah.
It did, yeah.
Kind of bent back a little bit there.
And then had a whiplash motion as it came on through on the follow through.
Oh,
Watch his
yeah,
arm.
you see his scap kind of jarred back right there. Definitely came up shaking it a little bit, but hopefully it's just...
They might make a pitching change right here. He might be asking for a few tosses. Skylar Meade was a standout pitcher at Louisville. Senior year under Dan McDonald. They got to the College World Series for the first time in program history. They're going to make a pitching change right here. So they're not going to take any chances with Tapper. They're going to get him out of the game.
Heck of a play right there. Just, you could see he kind of just awkwardly jammed it. That left hand didn't slide forward on the dive.
So here's that final out, and watch, the irony of it is, great play. He goes and gets the out, but he makes the play. It's a foul ball.
Yeah.
But you never let the ball fall. I mean, you take the out where you can get it, but that's a super play by very expensive, possibly costly out for Troy right there. As Tapper, you see, is still grabbing that elbow. And he's going to head on down to the bullpen, probably going to get some treatment. He's kind of holding that arm weird, too.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully everything's okay. I'm not so certain that this might have been the move regardless. You know, being a midweek game, Alonso was already getting hot in the bullpen. So Tapper might have just been in there to face Ishikawa. He might have been coming out regardless, but hope the young man's okay.
Dylan Alonso out of Tiger, Georgia, the hometown of Gunnar Stockton. The Georgia Bulldogs quarterback. They didn't go to the same high school. Alonso, more often than not, has been their back-end guy. He has made 4 starts. This is his 13th relief appearance of the season. He's 3-3. ERA of 5.60, and he does have a team-leading 5 saves.
I think got a good fastball there in the low to mid-90s and a pretty good slider. Going to be his swing and miss pitch, but it's more type of stuff that Georgia's accustomed seeing on the weekends. Tapper did a good job, though. I thought he had some good action on his fastball. Really tried to pitch in ventured away from the zone a couple of times, but for the most part was in. You see some smiles there. I think he's okay. But definitely a dangerous looking dive.
So Rylan Luho stands in, 1 out now. Runners at first and second. New pitcher here. Alonso, like I said, did not play at Rabun County High School like Gunnar Stockton did, although they're out of the same hometown. Alonso went to Rabun Gap Nakuchi, which is the boarding school. But I'm sure they have local guys that go to that high school, but it's a national boarding school, has a lot of international students in it. That ball is struck well to left field, but it is going to be caught by Nelson for out number 2, and nobody can advance. And Brennan Hudson will stand in now with 2 outs. Just more on Rabun Gap Nakuchi, that boarding school up in the North Georgia mountains that doesn't play a Georgia High School Association schedule. They play in North Carolina. They're that close to the line. And they just recently had their first ever player taken in the NFL draft this past week. Ball gets away from the catcher, and everybody moves up 90 feet. Reeves couldn't come up with it. Let's see if that's going to be a wild pitch on Alonso. So now second and third for the Dogs. They do score that a wild pitch. Hudson takes it low, 2-0. Here's the 2-0 pitch from Alonso. That's in there for a strike. 94, 1-2, 2-1, pardon me, is now the count.
First fastball he's thrown. Went first pitch slider to Luho, and then back-to-back sliders there to Hudson.
Hudson walked his first time up today. Slaps that one foul over on the left side, bangs off the screen. Hudson making his 31st start today. His 15 home runs are number 7 in the SEC and has 33 RBI to go along with them. Two, struck him out. Alonso gets the strikeout. Georgia strands 2 here in the third. So Alonso comes in and gets the job done. And we're heading to the fourth with Georgia on top, 2-0 here in Athens. So apparently D1 Baseball heard us complaining about their most recent release. They've got a new release that's just come out today, and their projected field of 64. And so instead of an 11 national seed, they've got Georgia as the 6th national seed, but they're not off the hook yet.
No,
we
not
still
by
got
a long
beat.
shot.
Georgia won 2 out of 3 at Texas A&M, ahead of them in the SEC standings, yet behind them in the national seeding. Doesn't make sense.
No.
And Texas, who's also behind Georgia in the SEC standings, although they don't play each other during the regular season, they have them as the number 3 national seed. As Pine leads off the top of the 4th for Troy, which means if you had chalk in the NCAA tournament, meaning everybody who wins who's supposed to win, Georgia would be paired up with Texas in the Super Regionals out there in Austin. Ball hit to Branch. Scoop on the back end there by O'Shaughnessy to retire Pine for out number 1. So D1 Baseball, nice try, a little bit better, still not good enough, right?
No, not good enough.
Still disagreeing with that. I mean,
you know, and it really just being the top 8. I mean, you're
That's
hosting
really
a
all that
Super.
matters.
That really is all that matters. I mean, it's kind of semantics at this point, but it's like, what's the process here that you can justify putting Georgia behind A&M?
yeah, and let me correct myself. Well, I'm calling out D1 baseball. I call out myself. No, Georgia would not be playing Texas.
It's on the other side.
That would be at the College World Series. They would be in the same bracket, but not in the Super. So I stand corrected as I'm correcting D1 baseball. Ball is hit out of play by Cavill. Counts 1-1. Flew out to left his first time up. Longest on-base streak in the Sun Belt Conference this year. It's current at 33 games. He got on base in every game last year, his first season
that is wild.
with Troy, and then had the streak ended in their opening game when he went 0 for 5. Opening game, he carried a 65 game on-base streak into the season that he actually started, I think, when he was at Western Kentucky. Fouls it off his leg. He's a really interesting story. As we mentioned, he's out of Sydney, Australia. And so he was looking for opportunities to play ball in America. Just couldn't find anything. So he Googled what's the top junior college programs in the United States. Northwest Florida State came up as one of them. So that's where he went. 1-2 pitch from Stevens outside, 2-2. Cavill, Sun Belt preseason player of the year, third team All-American by the baseball writers. He was an all-conference first baseman for the Sun Belt Conference a year ago in his first season with Troy. 2-2 pitch, called strike 3. Cavill retired for the second time today. 2 down here in the 4th.
And again, very impressive out of Stevens, just really pitching today. That fastball in there at 94, but just paints the black. Good 2-2 pitch right there. No argument from Cavill.
29 relief appearances for Stevens in his first 2 seasons. Second start here today for Stevens in his 2 years with Georgia. Best we've seen him pitch.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. Probably the first time we've seen him pitch.
Janicki lines it over the head of Phelps and down into the corner. And Jimmy Janicki is going to stop at second with a double. This guy has really been good. On the Buster Posey Award midseason watch list, preseason All Sun Belt.
And that one just hung a little bit arm side.
So Janicki picks up his 16th double of the season, came in number 8 in the Sun Belt Conference in that category. Number 3 in the Sun Belt in home runs, number 1 in RBI, number 2 in slugging percentage, number 9 in on-base percentage. He has been as good as advertised when they signed him out of North High School in Downers Grove, Illinois. And now in his second year, a year ago, he's a catcher. He's DHing today. He played third base a year ago as they had Brooks Bryan as their all-conference catcher last season. But the amazing thing is Janicki has moved from third to catcher, and his numbers have gotten better offensively. And that double now gives him an 11-game hitting streak, which is his longest of the season. Two balls and no strikes to Meyer. Meyer is kind of their version of Trey Phelps. A ball magnet in that batting box. He got hit by a pitch 29 times a year ago to set the program record. Hasn't quite been as prolific in that category this year as he has been in the past. He's only been hit by pitch 13 times this season, which is 9th in the Sun Belt. So he set the program record at Old Dominion 2 years ago, transferred to Troy, and then set the program record at Troy last year. Called strike, 3-1. And Meyer has 42 in his career at Troy. Meyer was convinced that was ball number 4.
Right there at the bottom of the zone. At least Savage is consistent.
3-1 is fouled out of play. Matt Stewart and Jason Jacobs with you. Thanks for joining us Tuesday afternoon baseball. This is the final non-conference game for Georgia. Nothing but SEC baseball from here on out for the Bulldogs. 3-2, bouncer up the middle. Branch has it behind the bag and throws, and safe. Meyer beats it out for an infield single. Runners at the corners. As Janicki goes to third, so runners at the corners and 2 out.
Yeah, good hustle there by Meyer. Is great job by Branch getting to the ball. Makes a good, accurate throw. He definitely beat it by a step.
This might be the end of the day for Stevens as he's sitting at 57 pitches.
Yeah, I was going to say when he hung that slider and then he fell behind 3-0, he might be experiencing some fatigue. I don't know how many times he's thrown 50 pitches this year. Probably none.
Probably not many in his career at Georgia. He's a transfer from ABAC.
This might be Wes just giving him a breather, saying, you know, hey, this is your last guy. Go ahead and empty the tank here. But, I mean, he has pitched really, really well. And when we say pitch, I mean like in all parlance of the word, like moving the ball in and out, changing speeds. He's done a great job at not just coming in there and throwing fire. He's been sitting there 93 to 95, but that changeup and that slider have been hitting for him as well. I think that's really rounded him out and helped him to miss some barrels.
So best scoring opportunity of the day so far for Troy here. And here's Drew Nelson. 2 aboard and 2 out in the top of the 4th. Strike 1 to Nelson. So Stevens is definitely working himself into the mix in the weekends. And, of course, he travels with the team on those weekends. Hot shot goes to Black on 1 hop. Will throw him out. Inning comes to a close. So Stevens pumped up as he leaves the mound. Great, solid 4 innings of work for Jordan Stevens. 2-0 Georgia. It has stayed overcast all day here in Athens. I thought the sun might break through. So far, that has not happened as we head to the bottom of the 4th, and 5th-ranked Georgia leading Troy 2-0. Had a lot of rain in the Atlanta and then over into the Athens area in the morning hours. Some thunderstorms as well, something we have not seen here in what has been a very dry month of April in this region of the country. But because of the turf field, no problems whatsoever. Play ball. That was Tapper, the starting pitcher, icing up that left elbow. He pitched well for Troy to start this game. They took him out as a precaution after he made a diving play on a pop-up bunt attempt. And Alonso, the second pitcher for Troy today, back out there for another inning of work and facing Branch, Black, and Phelps here, at least those 3 here in the bottom of the 4th. Breaking ball that almost nicked Branch right there. Georgia's gotten the lead off a man on in every inning. They've had at least 2 base runners in every inning.
Yeah, you get the feeling. I mean, they've played well enough. The score should be a lot more than just 2-0. So you get the feeling it's one of those games that Troy's just hanging around long enough to stay in it, maybe make a run late, and surprise Georgia. Georgia really needs to do a better job of cashing in on the opportunities they've had. You mentioned, they've already left 5 runners on in the first 3 innings.
2-0 pitch to Branch, swing and miss. 92 with the fastball right there. That time from Alonso, and it's 2-1. Troy was a 6-5 winner in 12 innings over Georgia back on February 25th. At the time, that was just the 2nd loss of the season for Georgia. Counts now 2-2 to Branch. Fouled off the mitt of Reeves, the catcher, and so Branch hangs in there, stays alive.
And Branch just a little bit underneath about everything he's swinging at right now. Looks like there's a little bit, maybe away from arm side action on the fastball from Alonso, almost like a little cutter.
Average sitting at 287, on base percentage 389. 2-2 pitch from Alonso. Bounces to the backstop. 3-2. Branch is one of 2 Bulldogs to start every 46 games this season. Daniel Jackson being another. In fact, Branch has started every game of his career but one. Has a team leading 11 doubles. Here's the 3-2 pitch from Alonso. And that's going to be ball 4.
Another leadoff guy on.
Yep. See if Georgia can do something with it. At some point, with all the traffic and all the base runners, you start to sense a mounting frustration, not necessarily from the team, but just watching the game, that they have not scored more runs than this.
Yeah, you got to cash in. The sooner that you can kind of build that lead and maybe take a little bit of that hope away from the opposing team, especially in these midweek games.
Branch is the 9th base runner for Georgia here so far today. Here's Black, swings and misses. Knocked in Georgia's first run on a fielder's choice. Looked like it was going to be a tailor-made double play to get Troy out of the inning. Had Darnell made that play, we might still be scoreless right now. Bouncer to Cavill, steps on first, has one play, that's it. No chance to get Branch, or he decided not to take a shot at it, and Branch will be at second, 1 down. Back around, top of the order, and Trey Phelps. 2 for 2 day for Trey Phelps. Couple of singles for Trey. One to the right side and one to the left. Alonso to the plate, strike 1. Phelps has already picked up his 17th multi-hit game of the season, his 9th 2-hit game. Phelps, did he go? They appealed down to first. Jack Furlong's the first base umpire. He said no.
And Troy's dugout is not happy. Dave Savage asking for help on that one, getting the safe call. They're not upset with the first base umpire, Jack Furlong, but just the fact that Savage asked and did not for their player.
Branch out at second, 1-1 pitch to Phelps. Hit in the air, right side, shallow right field, long run by Secchi. Cavill goes back, second baseman. Darnell calls him off and makes the play. Good play by Darnell, 2 down in the inning.
Great play by Darnell right there. That was in no man's land. Phelps got, if he hadn't hit it so well, it would have ducked right in there, but almost perfectly placed. The only guy that really had a shot at it, did a good job, did Darnell.
And I think you also have to point out, good job of communication by all 3 fielders. Darnell made it clear to everybody that it was going to be his ball to take. Here's Daniel Jackson. Ball 1 to Jackson. Hit by pitch in the first. Popped up foul territory to Cavill, the first baseman, in the second. 1-0 to Jackson. 2-0. Daniel Jackson, I think, really has a really good shot at one of the big national awards, including the Golden Spikes in my book. Maybe the Dick Hauser. He would become the second Bulldog to win it after Charlie Condon did it a couple of years ago. And here's my rationale. Offensively, his numbers play. He competes with the offensive numbers, the home runs, the RBI, the total bases, the slugging percentage. Throw in the fact that he has caught 39 of Georgia's now 46 games. Tough defensive position from a physical toll it takes on a player, and still put up these offensive numbers. And then throw in the fact that he's got over 20 stolen bases at a non-traditional position for a stolen base guy.
No, I think that's a really good argument.
So I think his offensive numbers play, and then he's got some intangibles, that being the catcher, that being the stolen bases. And that ball is driven deep right field, and Daniel Jackson has done it again. Home run number 22. It's a 2-run blast, and Georgia has a 4-0 lead.
But a great piece of hitting right there. That ball was kind of middle in. And he knew he got it right away. He pulled his hands inside that ball, went backside with it. That is impressive. You see this ball kind of gets in on the hands, but he pulls it inside, a little up in the zone. Does a good job, and he knew it right away. Good piece.
Athletic catcher with power, speed. Where's he going in the draft?
He's got a great arm, too, from behind the plate. I mean, his athleticism plays more as a quarter outfielder, I would say, but he does a good job behind the plate. And, again, he's done a good job at throwing some base runners out throughout the year.
He absolutely has. He's thrown out 11,
Yeah.
which is third in the conference. So not only does he steal bases,
Yeah.
he throws out base stealers.
He defends against it.
Again, going back to my argument, why I think he's got a really good shot at one of the big national awards, maybe even the Golden Spikes.
No, you make a really good argument because, I mean, that's such a pivotal position, too, and he's doing it so well. And then all of those offensive accolades, throw in the stolen bases, which is a rarity for a catcher to have. Remember the first time we saw him out there, they were picking over, and we're saying, he's a catcher, he's not going anywhere.
And then you throw in the fact that, he's got to be the slam dunk for the Buster Posey Award, right?
I would think so. And although there's a lot of good catchers, throughout the country this year. It's one of those.
O'Shaughnessy goes down swinging. That'll end the inning. But Daniel Jackson doing Daniel Jackson things. Home run number 22 as the Georgia Bulldogs double up their lead. Jackson is special. 4-0 Dogs as we head to the fifth. Eason Kosowick, the 6'7", 265 right-hander out of the bullpen. He'll be the second pitcher used by Georgia today.
And what a great job by Stevens. We mentioned, just filled up the strike zone. Like that West kind of came out there. We were thinking maybe it was time for a pitching change. Let him finish that out, and he did a good job. Kosowick out. Usually gets some innings in the midweek. You see there the numbers don't look that good, but a lot of potential from Kosowick. Big frame, throws hard.
Yeah, last time we saw him 2 weeks ago against East Tennessee State, it's probably the best we've seen him pitch.
Yep. And his only problem was just, got those 2 outs, couldn't quite finish the inning, but great job by Stevens.
Yeah, best that we've seen Jordan Stevens pitch in his 2 years with the Georgia Bulldogs. And, he really has taken a big step forward as far as how he'll be used these last 3 SEC weekends. I think Wes said, they had him heated up, ready to go if they needed him to go on Sunday at Ole Miss.
Oh, yeah.
And then Justin Bird, took care of business there by striking out 3 of the 4 batters that he faced against the Rebels on Sunday. But Stevens was ready if they needed him.
Yeah, and Aoki, the start that he had, too, going 6 innings. I don't think they expected him to go more 2 or 3, but great job there by Stevens. I think the big number on that line was 0 walks. I think that's huge for him. Just the 3 strikeouts. I think he kind of settled into forcing some more contact as opposed to throwing it by guys, and it made him a better pitcher.
Here's Nolan Book batting for the second time. Flew out to center his first time up. Yeah, speaking about Aoki, I think there's a really good chance he'll be the starter on Sunday in the Missouri series this weekend.
That has been a missing piece of this pitching staff's puzzle. I think they really had anticipated Ishikawa taking that role on, but after the injury, he hadn't quite gotten up to form yet.
Vigneault, will he be ready to go in the game 2 of the series on Saturday? And he was a scratch this past week in the Ole Miss series. So will he be ready to go? Volchko has been the steady. He's thrown more pitches than anybody else on this Georgia staff this year, and he has been the Friday night game 1 starter.
You know, and I think going back to that Ole Miss series, one of the funnier stats is their traditional starter, Volchko, was the only guy that they got the loss. I mean, the only game that they lost was the game that he pitched in. Is Gosawick off to a good start there, gets the strikeout.
Yeah, strikes out Book to start the fifth.
Big curveball right there.
Yeah, Gosawick has great stuff. That's why Georgia signed him out of the transfer portal. Came to the Bulldogs out of Texas Rio Grande Valley, the Vaqueros. But he's bounced around North Central Texas, Northeast Texas Community College, Rio Grande Valley. He just has not put it together fully, but it's a long season and we're still got time to go. Here's Darnell. First pitch to him was a ball, and he gets plunked on the thigh, and that's not good.
That's kind of been Gosawick's bugaboo a little bit. He'll look great. You know, you saw poor quality pitches there to Book, and he gets to the strikeout and then just yanks one way out of the zone there. A changeup. That matter had no chance. Never even started in the strike zone. So that inconsistency, when he's on, he's really tough to square up, but he'll lose it every once in a while.
Here's Caden Reeves, popped up to Branch his first time up. That's a breaking ball that missed inside.
Yeah, very nearly hit Reeves as well there with the arm side breaking ball.
And let me say, I usually say this at least once every time I do a Troy game, which is quite often. I love the chrome helmets.
Mm-hmm.
They do the same thing in football. Big fan. 1-0 in there for strike 1-1. You like them?
Yeah, I think they look good.
One pitch outside, 2-1. Reeves, the number 9 hitter in the Troy Trojans lineup. Hit a pair of 2-run homers, third and fourth homers of the season in the 8-2 win at Marshall. Here's the funny thing about Reeves, the freshman. It's now 3-1. He's got 4 home runs this season. They've come in 2 games. He's had 2 games with 2 home runs. Three-one pitch in there for a strike. 3-2. Troy has a pretty good legacy of really good catchers. As does Georgia, going back to my partner, Jason Jacobs here.
Before me, way before me.
Well, who was before you that was any good?
Doc Brooks, Clint Salmons.
Okay, yeah, there were a few.
Yeah.
3-2, popped him up. Behind the plate, Hudson tosses the mask, has it.
A good job by Gosawick coming back to get him. Something about you, that big frame, very tough to repeat. And you can see with nobody on, he has this big, long leg kick, kind of gets really long with his arm. But with a guy on, he's actually really quick to the plate. Goes into that slide step to control the running game. You would think he'd be easy to run on when you see him pitch, because he does pitch from the stretch with nobody on, just has a much higher, longer delivery, higher leg kick, longer delivery. But goes to that slide step, doesn't really lose too much on the velocity.
Here's the leadoff hitter. Paiseki batting for the 3rd time. He's 0 for 2. He's popped up both times. One-zero pitch. Man, that was slow. 76.
Big breaking ball right there.
Seemed like it took forever to get to home plate.
Paiseki just kind of gave up on it. It came out of his hand so far up, so high. Just kind of gave up on it and dumped right in there. It's a big delta between fastball and curveball, though, about 20 miles an hour.
1-1 pitch from Kosovic, pounded foul. 1-2.
Again, 76 right there on that over-the-top breaking ball.
Georgia gunning for their 35th win of the season against 11 losses. Troy looking for their 23rd. Now, the other issue we've talked about, Troy NCAA tournament bubble. What do they need to really get on the bubble if they're not really on the bubble yet? They're close to it. I think they have a chance to play their way into the tournament down the stretch in the month of May. The other thing is they got to stay above 500. They got to get above 500. Right now, they're not. They're 22-22. And they still have, for Georgia today, they got Alabama, they got UAB. Conference-wise, they've got App State, which is actually third in the Sun Belt. They're actually having a great year. They're a game ahead of Troy in the Sun Belt standings. They'll come to Riddle Pace Field this weekend. Ball goes the other way. Allen, long run, can't get to it, drops in front of him. And the Trojans will have runners at the corners as Darnell races into third base sliding.
A smart decision here by Allen to just play this on the bounce. Gesicki got jammed pretty good. A lot of English on this ball. You see it kind of kick right off the turf. I thought that was a good decision there by Allen, not trying to force anything.
That thing gets behind you, then you're in worse trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Here's Pine. Third time up for Pine. Single in the first, ground out in the fourth. Ball 1 to Pine. Picked up his 17th double of the season on Saturday in their 8-2 win at Marshall. Breaking ball missed inside. The big story for Troy, however, in that Marshall series was their pitching. They got their first shutout of the season on Sunday, a 1-0 victory, as Hayden Smith completed a week in which he had 11 scoreless innings and was named the Sun Belt Pitcher of the Week. National Pitcher of the Week honors, he was up for those too. Likely will be their number 3 starter, their Sunday starter when they host App State this weekend. They got South Alabama left on the conference schedule as well. They've won 5 of their 7 conference series so far. There's a strike from Kosovic. He's 3-1. Georgia has won all but 1 conference series this weekend. That was dropping 2 out of 3 to the Florida Gators. 3-1, fouled back. How do you explain the Florida Gators? I know that's been a big puzzle for the people who covered the Florida Gators team. They've had some big conference wins, not just one win, but series wins. They've lost to Bethune, they've lost to Jacksonville in the midweek. They've had some rather difficult midweek losses as Pine gets hit by the pitch and now the bases are loaded. So this is what you were afraid of when Kosovic came in, and they're going to make the call to the bullpen.
Yeah, just those big misses. He'll look great, and then one will just get away. Two of the guys on base via the hit batter. The one single not well squared up, but it's just, there's not a whole lot of room for error.
So Kosovic comes out after getting 2 outs, but loading the bases. Nottingham will be the next guy in. So Kosovic goes 2/3 of an inning, gives up 1 hit, 1 strikeout, but he hit 2 batters, so the bases are loaded. And Joe Nottingham, the freshman out of Maryland, is on. A lot of upside with Joe. Got a strikeout to walk ratio of 2.00, making his 11th appearance. It's better than 2.00.
Yeah, and I think you look at Nottingham, he's just got that frame. He's young, so can be inconsistent at times, but you see the potential in the young man. Really throws with a lot of velocity from a very short arm slot, almost like an infielder. That adds to that for the batter. It adds to that velocity. That ball gets on you a little bit quicker.
So those strikeouts and walk numbers we showed you there, a little bit off. He's got 7 walks, that was right. But he has 14 strikeouts, not 1 strikeout, so there's the 2.00. Strikeouts to walk ratio comes in with the bases loaded. Swing and a miss by Cavill.
You see that just easy 97. And effectively to the batter with that short arm angle coming straight from his ear almost, it's going to look more like a tick or two faster than that.
Here's the 0-1 pitch from Nottingham, and that's a strike at 95, 0-2.
Good angle right there. Ball flattens out at the bottom of the zone. Good catch there by Huddy, too.
Darnell at third, Pisecki at second, Pine at first for the Trojans with 2 out here in the 5th. Big spot in the game, and Cavill goes down on 3 pitches. Nottingham, cool as a cucumber, gets the job done with the bases loaded. The freshman jumps into the frying pan and jumps right back out. No burns. 4-0 Georgia as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Will becomes the 3rd pitcher used by Troy today. Freshman out of Dayton, Tennessee, in the Baylor School there in the Chattanooga area. Comes from good Trojan bloodlines. His brother his brother Jay pitched for Troy last 2 seasons. 18th round pick by the Athletics, and now with the single A Stockton Ports. So on the pitch, his 12th appearance, 2-2, 5.66 ERA. Last outing, 2 scoreless innings for him, allowing 3 hits with 1 strikeout in their 7-4 loss at Marshall on Friday.
Yeah, and Troy's really done a good job between Tapper and Alonso. They've done a good job of navigating some of these innings. The big knock, obviously, from Daniel Jackson, last inning backside home run. But there really have been base runners all around. They've made big pitches when they've needed to. Alonso just left that one up a little bit to Daniel Jackson.
So Tapper went 2 1/3, gave up 2 runs on 4 hits, a walk and a strikeout. Alonso went 1 2/3, gave up 1 hit, the 2-run homer to Jackson, the walk and 2 strikeouts. And now Dill on to face the bottom of the 5th, and that'll be Allen, Ishikawa, and Lujo. Allen officially 0 for 1 in the game, flew out to center in the 1st and then hit by pitch in the 3rd. Strike 1 to Allen. Oh, 1 pitch outside. We mentioned Matt Dill, his brother Jay. He became some sort of real sports family. His sister Abby competed in track and field, the high jump at Mississippi State, and is married to former Mississippi State baseball star Wes Ray. So Wes is his brother-in-law. He was a star first baseman and team captain for Mississippi State for 5 seasons, was part of their 2013 College World Series national finalist team.
He's a big part of that team.
Yep.
Memory serves.
Yep.
Team captain right in the middle.
1-2 is popped up right side. Cavill, the first baseman on the outfield grass, drifting back, stays with it for the out. 1 down.
All right, Ishikawa's fouled out both of his first at bats. That final foul out, I guess, was on the attempted bunt that Tapper laid out for. So the last batter that Tapper faced was Ishikawa, but
strike 1 to Ishikawa. Average sitting at 333. Ball 1. 2-1 now to Ishikawa, who missed. He did not play in that the first time Troy was here. He was out with a broken foot, broken bone in his foot. Pitch missed inside, 2-1. You really wonder how much that has impacted his season, certainly from a pitching standpoint. He seemed to be pitching well coming out of fall ball preseason, started the season well. Oh, wow. Just keep talking about him, Matt. He just blasted one out of here. Wow, up on the hill. Kenny Ishikawa. First career home run as a Georgia Bulldog. He's doing fine. Forget everything I just said.
Yeah, good job there by Ishikawa. Getting into an advantage count, 3-1, gets the ball up in the zone there. And he keeps it fair. He's really been swinging a good bat here as of late. Kind of a compliment. Mentioned that being his first home run. Everybody around him, really with those high slugging percentage, big home run potential. He's been good at setting the table and serving balls out there, but this one he gets hold of.
I'll tell you what, he's potential to be a huge two-way star here at the University of Georgia. That big home run right there notwithstanding, still you wonder what might have been had he not. You know, you missed the 2 weeks, and it's more than just missing the 2 weeks. It's those 2 weeks and then getting back from that while everybody else is playing.
No, you're right, and it's not like, you know, Major League Baseball, the guys get a rehab start down to the minor leagues, and they kind of come back from their injury game ready. You got to get game ready in the midst of competition. I think that's kind of tough to do.
Here's Lujo. 1-1 pitch to Lujo. He strikes this one into shallow right center field. Meyer, the center fielder, will take it for out number 2. But there have been times we've seen Ishikawa on the mound, and I've walked away from that game and said, okay, he's here. Mm-hmm. He's back. He's all the way back. He looks great. And then it just doesn't always work out that way. But that was a great home run. Shift on here for Hudson. First pitch to him is a ball. Second pitch is a ball. 5-0 Georgia on top here in the bottom of the 5th. 2-0 pitch, and that is rifled over the wall in right field. Brennan Hudson with a laser shot. 6-0 Georgia. Home run number 16, RBI number 34.
Yeah, almost a carbon copy there of Ishikawa's at bat. Got ahead in the zone, gets the fastball belt high, and he did not miss. Hudson always, he never gets cheated swinging, always swings hard, and that one he got hold of, and that was a laser beam, 106 off the bat.
Couple of solo shots for Georgia here in the 5th, Ishikawa and Hudson, and now the lead 6-0 for Branch. Little nubber to Darnell, the second baseman, and that'll end the inning, but a productive inning for Georgia. As Kenny Ishikawa hits his first career home run as a Georgia Bulldog to get the inning started. Hudson later followed, and Georgia up 6 as we head to the 6th. Top of the 6th, Foley Field, and a 6-0 lead for Georgia. Who wins the mascot race? Petey the Peanut was in the lead, but it was Pokey the Peach sneaking in the back door and taking the checker flag. Your day is now complete. Nottingham back out there to pitch for Georgia. Third pitcher used by the Bulldogs, and Janicki at the plate. doubled his last time up, tripled his last time up. I think they scored that a triple, didn't they? No, they scored it. It was a double. It was a double. One of 4 hits for the Trojans today. Little nubber, and O'Shaughnessy has it for out number 1.
Gotta love Nottingham coming out of the bullpen, throwing nothing but strikes to this point. 5 pitches, 5 strikes, including 3 beautiful fastballs to get out of the bases loaded jam coming out of the bullpen.
You know, Jason, if we played the game, use one word to describe each player. For Nottingham, the word I would choose would be poise.
Yeah, no doubt. No, he looks very comfortable out there.
First pitch to Meyer is fouled back.
Again, not an easy spot to come in, facing the 3-hole hitter with the bases loaded as a freshman.
One ball, 1 strike to Meyer. Singled his last time up, so he's 1 for 2 today. Hit into a 3 unassisted his first time up. That was back in the 2nd. Sends this one in the air, and Allen battles the high sky and has it for out number 2. Starting to see a few patches of blue as the gray overcast skies are breaking up above us. It's turned into a nice day. Did not start that way from a weather standpoint. Here's Drew Nelson. This guy here is up for the John Olerud. He's on the watch list for the John Olerud Award. They're just now getting him into a place where they can do him 2-way. Pitcher and left fielder. He's playing left field today. Started his career at Auburn, played the first 2 seasons with the Tigers. Pitched pretty good bit as a freshman, but rarely used as a sophomore. Only 3 appearances, and then jumped into the transfer portal. Went down the road to Troy. Found himself a new home. Nelson is from Troy, so he just went back home. Let's put it that way. O'Shaughnessy sliding. Tossed to Nottingham. Inning over. 1-2-3. O'Shaughnessy, perhaps better known for his bat, showing off some leather here today. 6-0 Georgia. Chase Cartron on to pitch. 4th pitcher used by the Trojans. Lanky left-hander, 6'8". 220 lefty out of Huntsville, Alabama. Chase Cartron on making his 8th appearance. 0-1, 6.00 ERA.
And he'll face the lefty in Black to start things off. Actually, looks like they might be pinch hitting for Black. Looks like Wynn's got a bat there on the on-deck circle, so.
Well, I'm glad, because Ryan Wynn's a guy I want to talk about. He really has impressed. I mean, he's come on really well here as we've moved into the second half of the season. Transfer out of Wofford, out of Chapel Hill High School in Douglasville. Hit 5 home runs in his 2 seasons with the Terriers. He's already got 5 home runs here with the Bulldogs here.
Well, it is Black, actually. I was looking down.
Why did you do that, too?
I was looking down at the dugout. It looks like he was just looking over some stuff like he was going to get in the ball game. They're going to stick with Black, but no,
I used
great
all
point.
my Ryan Wynn stuff.
No, but great point on Wynn. He's really come. It's been fun watching some of these younger players grow for Georgia as Black gets hit with the first pitch right in the small of the back. That one stings. Some of these young guys we've really had a chance to see mature. Nottingham, you know, on the mound is one of those guys. I think Wynn has done a great job maturing. Lujo, another one, sophomore, right in the middle of the back, right in the number. That's a tough one.
So the Bulldogs have gotten the leadoff man on in 5 of their 6 innings after Black got hit in the back. He's at first, and here's Trey Phelps. 2 for 3 day for Trey Phelps. Couple of singles for Trey, His average has gone up 5 points today from 361 to 366. But what hasn't happened is he hasn't been hit by a pitch.
Not yet. Not yet. That one came close.
Yes, it did. That's what made me think of that, because the next one will tie him for the single season record here at Georgia. He leads the nation with 27 hit by pitch. That's one shy of the record, 28 set by Corey Collins a couple of years ago.
And he stands so close to the plate, but he handles the inside pitch so well. You have to pitch into a guy with his type of power. And I think that leads to those HBPs.
2-0 pitch from Cartron is in there for a strike. It's 2-1.
Yeah, all those first 3 pitches on the inner half of the plate. That one lands for a strike.
Phelps, 15 homers on the year, picked up his 42nd RBI earlier in the game, so he was tied with his teammate Hudson with 15 home runs. A rocket shot bangs off the padding down the third baseline foul. So he's 7th in the conference in home runs. He's number 8 in on-base percentage. Started the day at 483. He's up to 486 now. He's 2nd in runs scored. He's 5th in the nation, or make that 6th in the nation in runs scored, right behind Daniel Jackson. And has 61 hits coming in, now 63 as the ball gets away from Reeves. And that'll put Black at second base as he advances.
And I don't know how that didn't hit him. I think it went behind him. Yanks this, looks like maybe a back foot breaking ball that he just yanks, and yeah, it went behind him.
Three balls and 2 strikes. And the home plate umpire, David Savage, steps out from behind the plate and tells Cartron, you got to engage with the hitter, got to make eye contact. Black out there in scoring position at second base. Phelps bounces it foul.
And Troy putting that shift on. The Cartron pitching into the shift. Everything's been on that inner part of the plate. Big wide open space there for Phelps to hit through like he did in his first at bat.
Spin move, chasing back Black, and it's close as Darnell was sneaking in the back door. This is the 19th consecutive game that Trey Phelps has batted in the leadoff spot after batting in the 2nd spot in the order in the first 26 games of the season. And that's going to be ball 4. 1st and 2nd now. And I don't have any numbers to back it up, but I believe the offense has been better with Trey Phelps at the top of the order.
Yeah, Ryan Black was lead off early on, and I thought he did a good job at seeing a lot of pitches, but Phelps obviously a very dangerous hitter there at the top. And I think the emergence of Lujo in the middle of the order has really helped as well. That gave Lujo the opportunity to move up in the order, and he's really shined.
Daniel Jackson steps to the plate, and Skylar Meade steps out of the dugout, wants to talk. Perhaps part of the conversation is reminding Cartron what Daniel Jackson did his last time up.
Yeah, I think they're going to go, yep.
They're
going to go to the bullpen. I think Cartron just had a tough time finding the zone, never really gotten any sort of consistent rhythm. 8 pitches thrown, 5 balls, 3 strikes. It's never a good start when your first pitch misses the mark, you know, as bad as it did, and hits Black right in the middle of his back. So
Jackson Lucas, the next pitcher. Jackson Lucas becomes the 5th pitcher used by the Trojans today. Freshman out of Osprey, Florida, making his 8th appearance. So Skylar Meade getting deep in his bullpen here with the Trojans down 6-0. Don't want to use any of those prime arms with App State coming to town this weekend. And Jackson Lucas will be facing one of the most feared hitters in all of college baseball, Daniel Jackson, who blasted his 22nd home run of the season when he batted last in the 4th.
And that backside power, I mean, that's a pitch in. middle in, but in nevertheless, up in the zone. He really just muscled that thing out. I think it goes to show you just how strong a hitter he is.
They call him the Rhino, hence the Rhino mask that he wears in the dugout after hitting home runs. Didn't know that rhinos were that fond of gummy worms, though. I guess everybody likes a good gummy worm, right?
That's right. I know my kids do.
Those appear to be the Sour Patch.
I think they're
gummy
like
worms?
like a Airhead sour. I'm not sure. But yes.
Something like that.
He's had 22 of them at least.
Yes, he has.
We do know that.
Two-0 pitch, strikes this one well. He might have done it again. It is a two-homer game for Daniel Jackson. This one good for 3 RBI. And a 9-0 lead for Georgia. As I was saying about that Golden Spikes Award, home run number 23.
And the maturity, 2-0 count. He doesn't get big and try and go pull side. This ball was hit exactly where it was pitched. Out over the plate, up in the zone. Just went with the pitch and showed the power backside.
RBI number 62, 63, and 64. He's got 5 runs batted in today. Here's Michael O'Shaughnessy, and now the Georgia Bulldogs have entered the run rule conversation here with a 9-0 lead in the bottom of the 6th. O'Shaughnessy thinking the same thing I was thinking. Swings and misses. Been a different kind of day for Troy here today as the one they had back on February 25th here in this ballpark. 0-1, solid shot in the right field for a base hit. Second hit of the day for Michael O'Shaughnessy. He told Colby Branch once he got into the starting lineup he wasn't going to give it up, and he hasn't.
Now, he's played a great first base, too. Saw a couple of great plays over there. Has played some third base throughout the year, so showed some athleticism on both sides of the ball.
Has really kind of solidified himself at that first base position. Here's Henry Allen with the 10th run, potential 10th run at first base. That's going to be another base hit. First and second. Now the 10th run is at second base. Still nobody out. And Kenny Ishikawa, his first career home run as a Georgia Bulldog, his last time up, steps up with 2 aboard and nobody out. Ball 1 to Ishikawa. 1 for 3, Ishikawa. After a prodigious home run in the 5th. Landed on the embankment. Headed up towards that ivy that's creeping over the fence and onto the embankment. Look at that, wow. That thing landed, almost hit those posters and banners hanging out there off the fence. 1-1 to Ishikawa. Line drive into right field, base hit. O'Shaughnessy had to freeze at second to make sure it wasn't caught by Darnell, and now the bases are loaded.
Well, you love seeing that. He hits the big home run and then gets right back into his game. Good line drive right there. Almost didn't get it high enough. Darnell just out of his reach there. Good effort by him at second base.
Here's Rylan Luho. Bases loaded, nobody out. When we were chatting with Brock Bennett, the Bulldogs third base coach, before the game, Lujo's a guy that, we're just talking baseball. And Lujo's the guy who comes up. Brock Bennett immensely, as most everybody associated with the program has been with Lujo this season. And another pitching change coming up here for Troy. Tate Farquhar becomes the sixth pitcher used by the Trojans today. Junior right-hander out of Michigan and a transfer from Michigan State. And the ERA is up over 47.
Yeah, just an inning and a third pitch. Gave up 8 hits. And you mentioned out of the frying pan into the fire. Comes in bases loaded, nobody out. Facing Lujo.
Transferred from Michigan State, where Skylar Meade was once an assistant coach. And here's Rylan Lujo, and this is what he did back in the second.
Ended the top half of the second with a sliding catch, leads off the bottom with a triple. It's a good piece backside. That ball really jumped into the gap. You don't get a sense of that on the replay. Just really exploded off his bat.
Dogs with an excellent chance to shorten this game and end it early. Of course, regardless of what Georgia does right here in the rest of this inning, Troy will get to bat in the top of the 7th. But Georgia up 9-0, and the potential 10th run is down at third. It's ball 1-1-1. O'Shaughnessy down at third. Allen at second. Ishikawa at first. Pitch missed inside to Lujo, and it's 2-1. Lujo actually is Georgia's leading hitter in conference play, batting .403 in SEC games. 2-1 pitch, line drive, caught by Darnell. Wow. Great play by Darnell right there. Now puts them in a position, if they can turn 2, they'll get out of this.
Yeah, great play there by Darnell, but equally as good a reaction from Henry over there at Henry Allen, that is, over at second base, to go back on the line drive, knowing where the infielders are playing. He didn't just put his head down and think about scoring. It could have easily been doubled off right there.
There's Brennan Hudson, who crushed one over the right field wall his last time up for home run number 17 on the season. Home run number 16 on the season.
That third baseman, Pine, in there. He called for the catcher to come out as well. Just making sure maybe Farquhar's not giving away any of his pitches.
So bases remain loaded. Now 1 out. Hudson. Average up 4 points from 290 to 294 today. 0-1 hitting. 10-run lead for Georgia. So Georgia has officially moved into position to run rule this game if they can keep Troy from scoring in the top of the 7th. And here's Colby Branch. Need we remind you, he has 6 career Grand Slams. Ball 1.
Boy, and at this point, Colby Branch has had he's hit so many balls hard and got nothing to show for it throughout the season. You feel like something's brewing for him to break out.
1-0 pitch, ball 2. Allen down at third, Ishikawa at second, Hudson's at first. 4 runs in for Georgia in the inning. Fouled back, 2-1. 2 in the second, 2 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, 4 here in the sixth, and Georgia has a 10-0 lead. Two-one pitch, ball hit to deep right field, and going to be caught just shy of the warning track. That'll score another run as Allen races home from third, and Georgia has an 11-0 lead. So Troy will have to score at least twice in the top of the seventh to keep the game going. Here's Ryan Black. He's the 10th man to bat in the inning. He started the inning being hit by pitch. This is just the third all-time meeting between Troy and Georgia. The first came in the 2018 NCAA Athens Regional. Georgia won that day. That 2018 Georgia team, was Jonathan Cannon on that team?
Thinking back, I think that was Wilcox, Hancock.
Hancock. Well, the point I was going to make is
yeah.
Georgia has 4 major leaguers right now, 3 of them from the 20-teens pitching staffs. Cannon's with the White Sox, Hancock and Wilcox with the Mariners.
Cannon might have been a freshman. I feel like he came on after that.
After them?
Yeah, 2021 I think was kind of his, where he kind of led the pack on that pitching staff.
2-1 pitch. That's a strike, and it's 2-2. So he's up with the White Sox. Georgia has 4 major leaguers. Two-two pitch. Black goes around, and that will end the inning. But Georgia plates 5. Now has a chance to run rule this game, because Daniel Jackson hit his second home run of the game in this inning. It was a 3-run Oppo blast, his 23rd home run of the season. Georgia leads 11-0. And Georgia certainly has done that today. A little middle row, and baseballs does the trick. Georgia's dumped 4 of those baseballs over the wall today. As Daniel Jackson continues to add not only to his team lead, but SEC lead. 23 home runs. He started the day number 6 in the country in total home runs. Moving up the ladder, Brendan Hudson's now 2nd on the team as he hit his 16th. Ishikawa hit his first today. 4 home runs for Georgia, 11-0 lead. Troy down to their final 3 outs unless they can score 2 runs here to keep this game going. Georgia 11-0 lead, certainly in run rule territory. Some other things, Cavill could have his on-base streak ended at 33 games, and a good chance he might not get back around unless Troy puts together an inning here. Ty McGraw pinch hitting for Nolan Book. Here's the 1-1 pitch to McGraw, and he grounds it to the second baseman. Black will throw him out. 1 down here in the 7th.
Boy, and Georgia really, they've had a few midweek games here as of late where they have not looked good on the mound. They have definitely looked really good here in today's contest. I think Stevens, great job, didn't issue a walk. Kosowicz came in, struggled a little bit, had a couple of hit by pitches, and then Nottingham, he's been a strike throwing machine here. 15 pitches, 11 strikes.
Azpilicueta is pinch hitting here for Darnell. There's a strike from Nottingham, and it's 0-2. Azpilicueta, big home run hitter at Stony Brook, from which he transferred. 6'2", 240 senior. Nottingham misses with pitch number 3. It's 1-2. So Troy heads home finally at the end of this game. They have not been home since leaving Troy last Wednesday for their road series at Marshall last weekend. Azpilicueta gets a hold of this one and sends it to deep left field and gone. Well, that's what Azpilicueta does. And he doesn't know that the ball's out. He was slowing down around second base. He thought he had a ground rule double or something, I think. Yeah, it's a home run, young man. Touch all 4.
He got just enough of it. Came in at 97, left the bat at 97. He just kind of cheated to that fastball. Got it off the end a little bit. Well located, just a little up in the zone on the outer part.
So 11-1 now the score. We'll have another pinch hitter. So Richardson's going to pinch hit here for Reeves. Takes a big cut and misses. Brady Richardson has only 2 at-bats on the season. He's 0 for 2. Sends this one out of play, and it's 0-2 to Richardson. Trojans need another run to keep this game going. 0-2 pitch. Outside 1-2 to Richardson. Struck him out. 2 out here in the 7th.
Again, kudos to Nottingham. Gives up the home run. Pitch he got away, maybe a little up in the zone, but not rattled at all. You mentioned it, the word poise really stands out when you see him on the mound. Gets ahead with a couple of good fastballs and then finishes him there with a good slider.
And Houston Markham will pinch it for Pisecki. Markham actually scored the winning run back on February 25th when the Trojans beat Georgia 6-5 in 12 innings. Scored the winning run on a wild pitch. Swings and misses, it's 0-1. Georgia will have Missouri coming to town this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Jason and I will have the Friday and Saturday games for you on SEC Network Plus. And then the Sunday game will be noon on the SEC Network linear channel. Georgia in first place in the Southeastern Conference at 15-6. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Nottingham, fouled back, and now Troy down to their final strike. Nottingham looks in. 1-2 pitch. Ball 2. Nottingham trying to close this out with no need from anybody else from the Georgia bullpen. 2-2 pitch. In the air. Let's see if it's playable. Hudson over by the Georgia dugout. It is not. Gets into the stands. Two balls and 2 strikes to Markham. Nottingham looks in, comes to the plate. Ball 3. So Markham getting his money's worth in this plate appearance. Three-two pitch. And that is going to be hit to right field, and it's going to get over Ishikawa's head and bang off the wall. Markham digs for second in there with a stand-up double.
Great at bat there by Markham. Fought off some really tough pitches. Forced Nottingham to challenge him, and then he backspins this. Great job going down to it. See, Ishikawa took a little bit of a weird route. That ball just kept carrying because he got so much backspin on it, that downward swing. And good hustle double there with 2 outs.
Markham, a sophomore, has kind of gotten lost in the shuffle with Troy this year, has not played nearly as much as he did, or it seems so to be the case, as he did as a freshman. But he gets a big double right there to keep this game going. And he still, of course, has to score to keep this game from being run ruled in the 7th. Here's Zay Diaz, pinch hitting for Pine. First pitch to Diaz, popped him up. It's going to be out of play. Diaz Jr. out of Miramar, Florida, transferred to Troy from Chipola College. Markham over at second. The 0-1 from Nottingham gets to the backstop, and Markham's going to be at third. That's going to be a pass ball on Hudson. So Markham 90 feet away from the second run for Troy. 1 ball, 1 strike to Diaz. He went 1-2. You think a timeout was to be? No. Skylar Meade is still arguing with David Savage.
Yeah, he's asking him to ask for help. I think that was an obvious offer that he didn't need help on, but that kind of goes back to earlier in the game.
Yeah,
definitely when. I don't think he needed any help from him right there, but
I think this is just bubble over frustration from earlier in the game, not necessarily that one play.
Agreed.
In a frustrating day for Troy on what's been a successful road trip for them, but looks like it's going to finish disappointing fashion unless they come up with a titanic rally here. I guess gargantuan rally. You don't want to be a titanic rally. That was a bad.
Yeah,
that didn't end well, did it? So that's probably not an appropriate adjective. Here's the 1-2 to Diaz. Got him. Game over. Georgia wins it 11-1. So Jason, Georgia comes home after 2 weeks away, 7 consecutive road games, and beats Troy by a final score of 11-1 in 7 innings.
And you feel like this pitching staff's catching its stride. No walks, just a couple of hit batters. The only 3 passes they gave up. Again, midweek games have been a little bit tough on the pitching staff, but coming out of the stressful pitching that they had to endure with those 3 games, one of them being extra innings in just over 24 hours, some guys really stepped up today. I thought Stevens looked great. I thought Nottingham looked great. This pitching staff did great, and the offense did what it does.
Daniel Jackson hits 2 more home runs, drives in 5 of Georgia's 11 runs, and it's nothing but SEC from here on out.
Yep, and this is that time of year. Guys need to step up, and looks like Georgia's finding a couple.
Stevens gets the win, and Nottingham gets the save. Tapper takes the loss. Georgia gets the win now, 35-11 on the season. Missouri coming to town this weekend. Our producer has been Bryson Wright. Our director has been Steve Hill. And now from our Parsons, Jason Jacobs, and our entire SEC Network team, I'm Matt Stewart. So long from now. We'll see you this weekend.